Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bazil. Welcome to WildStar Wednesday, episode 30. Yes, the series is back. Unfortunately, it's not back on a high note. I actually wanted to put the series back on a high note, talking about my reactions on the gear changes for PvP, where I saw, and just kind of my other initial impressions of the overall status of the game so far. And then this happened. Actually, this happened the day I was planning to record the new episode. And unfortunately, I really didn't want to talk about this, but I got a lot of requests by you guys, the community, to just kind of share my thoughts on this. So I'm going to. There was a couple people that asked me why I didn't do it yesterday when it was announced, and I didn't feel it was fair because I was just still really upset, like most of you were, and rightfully so. So my biggest concern and my biggest just kind of issue with this whole mystery box promotion thing is not the mystery box promotion itself. That's fine. Carbine promoting the game, well, promoting is such a strong word, but we'll get into that. They're trying to get returning players back into the game. They're trying to spark some sort of new player incentive to buy the game and sub to the game. But the problem with that, and this is where the promotion thing I have an issue with, is I was talking to some of my guildmates, and a lot of us agreed that the problem with it is they're not marketing it really anywhere other than the known social media sites. Their Facebook, their Twitter, and just their website. And the people that they're marketing to are already community members of the game, are already the people that are already inside the game playing. They're not marketing it on the radio, they're not marketing it on the TV, they're not really marketing it in stores, anywhere. Like, I went to my local stores, asked them about this, and they're like, what's WildStar? Like, half of them didn't even know what the game was still. So, their marketing strategy for this is really poor, and honestly it feels like they're just milking the community for all of our money, taking the boxes off the shelves, and it's going to go to a different pay to model, whether that's buy to play or free to play, and we'll get to that discussion in a little bit later. But to me, that's what this promotion kind of fell flat on its face, was they're not marketing to new potential buyers, they're marketing to the people that already have the game. They're like, hey, we want to get rid of the rest of our boxes on the shelves because they're obviously not selling. So here's some cool promotions. Go, help us make a profit out of the boxes that we're taking off the shelves. And when this announced, I went to all my local stores: Target, Walmart, Best Buy, GameStop, Myers. Those are really all my local stores that I have that sell any form of PC games. Unfortunately, GameStop doesn't really have any PC section. A lot of the PC games are all on their website, and to buy a retail box copy from GameStop is just next to near impossible. I went to two different ones. One was really close to my house, and the other one was about 10-15 miles away from my house. So I drove a significant kind of distance there. And what I found was, one, either the GameStop employees had no idea about the promotion, or they had literally no idea about WildStar. So, obviously GameStop is a console, more of a console-focused store, but, they at least are usually up to date on the current MMOs, and most of the GameStop employees had no idea what WildStar was. Or they just kind of laughed at me like, oh, that game, yeah, that game has some pretty bad PR. I'm really kind of sad to see it not do so well. So GameStop was met with, they have no clue, and there was literally no retail boxes available at GameStop. You can order online with their code, but that's not synced to the box. It's only physical boxes. I went to Target. They had nothing. The employees had no idea what a computer was, so that's kind of out of the question. Myers, nothing as well. Myers is a local store. I think it's like a local northern store in the U.S., but they had no retail copies available. I went to Walmart. They had one, but they were selling it for $39.99. So I wasn't going to pay that much money. So And, unfortunately, the only place that had it was Best Buy, and it was on their clearance section, which wasn't actually in the video game section. It was in their clearance aisle with all their other clearance items, and it was for $19.99. I didn't pick up a copy just because I didn't feel it was worth the money. And I'll also get into that a little bit later. But so out of all the stores in my local area within a 25-mile radius, only one store had a box copy legitimately on the shelves, and it was not at $19.99. And I even asked Best Buy, this game just launched a new promotion. You guys going to be getting any in? I talked to 2 different managers, and they're like, no, the game has never sold well. So we were told to put it on clearance and remove it from our inventory and stock. And pretty much the same answer with Myers, Walmart, and Target. Unfortunately, GameStop, I used to work at GameStop, and they don't sell PC games anymore in terms of in-store. So most of theirs was, hell, they still had Sims 3 expansion packs and EverQuest expansions on their PC lineup for their boxes. Of course, they had Blizzard games, but that was all digital code cards. So, anyway, so in terms of finding a physical copy, next near impossible where I live. So that's one disadvantage for this stupid promotion. It's, hey, if you can find a physical copy at your location, great, cool. The next kind of thing that really annoyed me was Amazon has these physical copies. Of course, Amazon, that's normal. And what you can do is you can buy them, but now that all the stores that have the physical copies that you can order online are seeing an influx of purchases, they're upping the price. So before they were $19.99 because no one was buying them. Now we as the community are buying them in droves because we want these items, and they're marking up the prices again. I know supply and demand, that's normal. But I'm not going to pay $29.99 or $39.99 for an RNG possible item that I want. That's insane. That's like microtransaction hell in my opinion. Like, okay, cool. Take away the $15 for the the extra 30 days of game time. That's fine. But if stores like Amazon and some of the other online retailers are charging $39.99 for a box copy, that's crazy. You're paying so much money for pixels. Like, that's insane. So supply and demand happened, and everyone's like, oh, see, the promotion's working. New players are buying this. And no, it's not the new players. And I think that this is really important to kind of stress is new players are not buying this new promotion because it was not marketed outside of the already known community. I asked people who play World of Warcraft, and they're like, what? No, we haven't heard of this. Or just anyone that's a PC gamer is like, no, we didn't know they were doing a new promotion, because no one who doesn't want to play the game is not going to follow the Twitter, is not going to follow the Facebook, and is not going to check the Reddit or the website. That's the only places that I've seen it marketed anywhere. So, just based off of that little kind of issue, the promotion is geared towards getting the boxes off the shelves so they can transition into a different payment model. And I know, guys, that's not what you want to hear, but it's the truth. It's the truth, guys. If you look at the history of the last few MMOs that have done this, namely Terra and not EverQuest. Wow, no, Elder Scrolls. For some reason, I couldn't think of the name. Elder Scrolls Online. Both of them did this to remove box copies off the shelves before they transitioned into either free to play or buy to play. So, if we look at the history of what things have transpired in other MMOs, WildStar's payment model is going to change. Now, granted, it might not be... Honestly, if the game goes buy-to-play or free-to-play, it's either going to be the final nail in the coffin, and it's just going to turn into microtransaction hell, or Carbine's going to have some sort of leniency with NCSoft, and they'll be allowed to make a good free-to-play / buy-to-play game. My money goes into the first option because NCSoft are a bunch of assholes. So, take that for what it's worth. personally, I don't think that WildStar staying a subscription model will work. And yes, the game has been around for 10 months, almost 11 now. But look what we've had to deal with. Look how many people have left or came back and then left again. Look at the numbers constantly going down, going back up for the new drop, and then teetering back off because there really isn't a lot being brought to the table. So, if the game were to remain a subscription model, and I 100% agree with Tally on this issue, is because he's right. The only MMO that really is going to stay subscription is going to be Final Fantasy XIV. Because the people that are in charge of that game are stubborn asses, and that's just the way it's going to be, and they're not going to rely on the American subscriptions to run that game. It's going to be mainly funded by the Japanese and the Korean markets. That's normal for any type of game that's not based out of the US. That's just what it's going to be. So, buy to play for WildStar. Is that something that can be sustained? Absolutely. If the game goes buy to play and your version of the game is $20 to $30, I think $30 is probably the most fair and reasonable of all the price kind of points. $20 I think is too low and isn't fair. $30 I think is a good jump in window for WildStar. One, because the first few levels, the first 20 levels, are just tedious as hell. So it'll force them to make the leveling process and some of the grinding process just more streamlined if they go a different model. Because right now, the sub model, it's just kind of like, all right, you get your money each month, yada, yada, yada. Beforehand, that was something that was a good thing, that forced developers to bring things out quickly and to really kind of make sure and listen to the community. And Carbine just seems to think that they can just kind of float along and just kind of do nothing about it for months and months on end. And that baffles me. I don't know why. They just continue to have this reputation of, we're going to be really open and honest for a month, and then we're going to shut down for the next 4 months and just say diddly squat and just piss off the community just more and more and more with our silence. I don't know why they do that. Part of me thinks it's NCSoft, part of me thinks it's arrogance. And, I'm not really sure why that is the case. But buy to play, I think, is a good model for WildStar. And it's not a bad model, guys. I mean, look at all the other games that have been successful through these two models. Hell, look at Rift. Look how successful Rift has become on the free-to-play model. It's not broken. There's no pay-to-win BS. Yeah, you can technically say that the leveling gear that you can buy with real money is pay-to-win, but if you're seriously saying that if someone spends $50 on a level 20 character because they want to have the best gear for, 10 minutes, okay, great. You're stupid. So, Rift has the best free-to-play model in the industry, in my personal opinion. You can access all the raids, you can access all the content at any time, except for the expansions, and some of the other, special goodies, like, all cosmetic items. Just want to point that out there. In terms of a buy-to-play model, no one's really done that correctly, in my personal opinion. I haven't seen ESO's buy-to-play model, but from what I've been told through friends that have played it, it's actually a very decent and fair model. So, we'll go with ESO having the best buy-to-play model, because I think they're the really only ones doing it correctly. Guild Wars 2 can no, not a good model, because everything's just littered with microtransactions, and that's how they make their money. But I think if WildStar did buy-to-play with a subscription option, giving the subscribers extra experience boosts, just extra things, then that would keep the game alive while allowing Carbine and NCSoft to make so much extra money on microtransactions. I mean, everyone's freaking out about the housing stuff, but if we think about it, think keep the keep the housing stuff the way it is. Microtransactions would simply be different colored textures, different animations, different pixel effects, different lighting effects, extra music, extra decor, that kind of stuff. Stuff that's all cosmetic, that has nothing to do with in-game progression whatsoever. Because let's be honest here, guys, housing is not progression. Housing is enjoyment, and something that's really, really enjoyable in WildStar. The die system, obviously, that would probably not change because of the new costume system they're doing. Everything's going to be account bound. The dies probably are never going to be account bound if they switch to a new payment system. They might even, say, hey, pay $2, get a random chance for 4 rare dies or something. Like that's okay. It's just cosmetics. You guys need to stop freaking out about this kind of stuff. It's cosmetics. Now, if they were to say you can buy this endgame sword for $10, that would be a big no-no. Carbine, if you do that, you guys are stupid. Don't do that. Just please don't. So, that's my thoughts on the whole box promotion thing. I feel that the game is not being promoted outside of the already current community that we have. So really, they're just milking us for all the money that we're already giving them, which I think is completely BS. And I do want to say at the end of the video, because I didn't want to make that my main point, those of us who have been with you from freaking day one, or freaking closed beta 1, 2, or 3, or the alpha, or friends and family, and have been with you since day one, give us a gosh dang box, because that's BS and you know it. You're welcome for supporting you for 8, 10, 11 months. Like, that's just... that's a complete betrayal of really the community's trust, in my opinion. So, oh man, that made me more angry, and that was the reason I didn't want to make the video yesterday, just because I was just so angry. Just so angry. But this has been a really long video, guys. I appreciate you guys taking it out to the end. I hope you guys did, and hearing all my thoughts in a complete kind of formulaic video, because I don't do text very well. So, again, thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful afternoon, morning, and or evening, and I'll hopefully see you in Nexus for years to come. Bye-bye.